Happy Thursday, guys. I am finally getting to you guys with a message for today. It is a little late in the day. Trying to catch it while I have some daylight hours. I've been anticipating getting out here to the lake, but the weather has been so wet and chilly that I couldn't get out here and feed my little fat squirrels and my fish and my ducks. All of them like to eat the bread and crackers, so I'm just out here feeding the animals today, you guys. I hope everyone had a blessed and beautiful Wednesday. The weather is being nice to us. I hope you all got out and enjoyed some of this sunshine and this nice weather. But of course, I have a message for you guys today, and I want to talk to you guys about facing adversity. And I know that is something that I know a lot about because, Lord, have I had some trials and tribulations in my life. Now I get to thank God for the trials and tribulations that I had to face in my life. And basically, facing adversity is just hard times. Adversity is just hard times, which we all have to face hard times and trials in our lives every now and then. And it's just something that we all have to face. And I know I have said this before, and I'm going to say it again. When life gives you lemon, make lemonade. I know it sounds cliche and you might have heard that phrase before, but it gets no realer than that. Y'all gonna make me go Philly slang on y'all, but that's true. It's just as real as it gets, because life is not what happens to you, it's how you choose to deal with the things that happen to you in life. We can go through our trials horribly. You ever talk to someone about someone else losing a loved one or experiencing some kind of loss, and you hear them say, well, how's she taking it? How's she dealing with it? I know that's how we talk where I'm from, and that people, they always want to know, well, how's she dealing with the loss? And some people know how to deal with things better than others. So let me just say it that way. And I would suggest to you all, to anyone who is in the midst of adversity, or if you made it through, you need to be shouting and dancing and celebrating, you getting through hard times. I know at the point of my life, that's how I feel, because I believe that God has me on the other side of adversity. I believe that my suffering days are over, and my best is right before me. I'm experiencing my best right now. I believe that God does not want me to suffer anymore, because I have done enough suffering in my life. So that is what I believe about myself and my heart, that I just been through enough, and God wants me to experience the pleasures and joys of life while I am still living. Does that mean that I will not face adversity ever again? No. We all have to deal with trials and tribulations in life. But once you go through things and you experience adversity, you know how to deal with them a little better. That's why I try to, it's up to us, us old heads, so they call us, to teach our younger generation how to, go through trials and tribulations of life gracefully, because you don't have to go through it horribly. So the best way to deal with adversity is just to face it, look at it for what it is. Don't shy away from it. Don't try to sweep it under the rug or push it in a corner, or try to deal with it later, or whatever. I had to go through some of the hardest times of my life, the loss of my mother and my father. I just had to face it for what it was. My mother was very sick for a long time, and my father was as well. And I was younger. My father's been gone for almost 20, no, for over 20 years now. And I was not ready to lose him, but I didn't have a choice but to face it. And it was very hard. It was harder when I lost my father than it was when I lost my mother, because I dealt with my father's loss a lot with anger. I was bitter. I was mad at him. I wasn't ready for him to leave me. It was sudden for me. He was fairly young when he passed away. I don't even think he was 50 yet. That's young to me. I wanted him to be, old. I just really wanted him to stick around for a whole lot longer. And I believe that was young for him, to pass away. And it took me years before I began to celebrate his life. I wrote a chapter in my book that I dedicated to my mother and my father. And I talked a lot about the death of my father. And I was young, and I just went through a lot behind my father's death. I was very, very angry, and I lashed out in different ways. It just made me bitter. So fast forward 15 years later, when my mother passed away, I was wiser. I was older. I knew how to deal with it. I went through my mother's death much gracefully than I did my father's death. And it was just not as hard on me. I am truly grateful that my mother was able to see me clean myself up. And one of the last things I heard my mother say to me before she passed away was that she was very proud of me. And that just blessed my heart. That gave me peace in so many ways. Just to know that was some of the last words that she spoke to me, was that she was very proud of me. So I got peace with that. I was there when my father passed away. I kissed him and I told him that I loved him, but I wasn't ready to lose him. But experience, and especially in that case, was the best teacher. I was able to get through my mother's death a lot better than my father's death, because I had already went through it with my father. So I thank God for that. And it's so important that we learn from our experiences in life. A lot of things that I went through, just period, even as a child, it allowed me to deal with things like my divorce, gracefully. We got separated, we got divorced, and, it is what it is. I know some women out here who still are grieving the loss of their marriage, separating from your spouse, even though your spouse may still be alive. It is like mourning a loss. And I know a lot of women who just, haven't dealt with that very gracefully, and, not by choice, but, it's really hard. It's really hard to be separated and divorced. I'm not going to talk about it like it's an easy thing, but, it's not what happens to you. It's really all how you deal with it. I was mentioning to you guys, I believe it was yesterday, I was getting a preview on my book, and and the person was saying, I just look at you with such amazement because of all the things that you mentioned, your testimony, which you had to go through in your life. And how could you still be standing? And every time I see you, you have a smile on your face. And I'm like, number one, it's the grace of God. I don't care what your religion is, what God you call your name by. I know who my God is and what I call God by. But we all have to recognize that there is a being that is higher than ourselves. The creator of all things, just recognize that there is a higher being, and give him credit where credit is due, always be grateful and allow him to help you through your adversity. When you have a God that you can lean on in your hard times, and just knowing that you don't have to deal with these things by yourself, that makes it so much easier. So you have to trust in God. Know that you are not alone. Know that you can pray and that you are praying to a prayer answering God. Trust in him. Adversity, trials, tribulations is not the things that happen to you. And I know some terrible things happen to people. I mean, we do terrible things to each other. We don't always know how to treat each other. Most of the time, human beings treat each other terribly. It don't matter if it's father and child or parent and child. Let me say it that way. It don't matter if it's your flesh and blood, or if it's your spouse, or your siblings, or people, business relationships, or your supervisor, or people that you look up to, who you are depending on to be fair with you. And sometimes they are the main people who just are not good human beings. You just got a lot of people out here in this world who are just really not so great human beings. So I mean, if you got a chance to be one, then be one. It doesn't matter what your past look like or what you've been through, or no, I don't know your story or why you are the way that you are, but I do know that the things that you do will most certainly come back to you. So it's very important to be the most amazing human being that you could possibly be. And that's what I want for my children. And I believe that my children all are truly amazing human beings down in their hearts. And they have proven that in so many ways. And I'm grateful for that. But like I said, it just really doesn't matter, what happens to you. Things happen, situations happen, tragic things just happen, accidents happen, we lose our loved ones. We never know what tomorrow may bring. And I know that it's not easy to watch things unfold, especially if it is something that is hurtful to someone we love, or someone is doing something hurtful to us, or if we're just stuck in a situation that is not favorable for us. It is not going to be easy to go through things all the time. And it's not like I'm telling you to ignore the things that you are going through or just try to act like they don't exist. What I'm saying is not what you are going through, is really in how you go through it. By you going through it in a horrible way, it is not going to change the fact that you have to go through it. There you have people with cancer patients laying in the hospital who just want to be grateful for every single day because they don't know what day is going to be their last. And you have people who are diagnosed with these terminal illnesses that have a way more beautiful spirit and happy and light and smiling and just want to enjoy every second in life. They are happier than people who are not diagnosed with terminal illnesses. So I mean, if they can deal with that the way that they deal with it, why we can't deal with our delinquent bills, or car payments, or like God is not going to provide for us. And there's people out here who are literally don't know if they're going to wake up in the morning. And and you can talk to them, and these people are just pleasant and happy. And I can think of some people right now who I watched all the way up until their very last breath, and they had the most beautiful uplifting smile on their face every time I saw them until their very last breath. And there are just some people out here who know how to deal with life as it comes on its term, and it's just people out here that do not. So you don't have to be miserable every single day just because you are going through a situation. And you talking to someone who have been through some really rough times in life. The few things that I mentioned, my divorce and the loss of my parents, and me and my husband were trying to conceive, and we lost our first child together. That was something really tough. It was really tough for both of us. And I know people who just try to bury things and not deal with them at all, but that is not healthy. My 9-year-old son was telling me about something that he was talking about in school with his teacher, and she was asking him, how do you deal with things when you are afraid? Like if he wakes up in the middle of the night and he's thirsty and he has to go downstairs to get a drink of water, and all the lights are out, and he said he just faces it. If he has to walk in the dark before he gets to a light switch, he said that he figured out the best way to deal with his fear is to face it. To just face that thing head on that you are going through, or that you are afraid of, or that you think you can't deal with, because in all reality you may be stronger than you actually realize that you are. And that's how I realized my strengths that I had in me, is when I had no choice but to be strong. And when you are going through trials and tribulations, that exposes your true character and who you really are. That's why people say, well, how's she taking it? How's she dealing with, her divorce, or the loss of her loved one, or, she got fired from her job. Well, how's she doing? How's she dealing with it? And, when they say, well, she ain't dealing with it too good, they be like, oh, well, she weak anyway. Or I ain't surprised. That's her. Typical her. She don't never know how to deal with things, and that's just how people see you. And you have to be the type of person that knows how to deal with life on its terms. God is not going to always change the situation and make you a millionaire, or make you rich, or make your family members how you want them to be, or whatever. He's not going to always. He's never really. God never changes the situation. He changes you in the situation. He builds up your character. God is concerned more with your character than he is with your comfortability. And then once you become a stronger person and learn how to deal with things in life, he starts blessing you with the things that you are asking him for. He gives you more. When he sees that your endurance is growing and you are getting better with each trial and each tribulation, you ain't falling out, cussing everybody out, smoking and drinking every chance you get, and you just don't know how to deal with the things in your life besides acting out. When he see that you are getting better, that's when he blesses you with more. That has always been the case with me, because it has been times when people were going to do me dirty, and I just look right at them, knowing that they are going to act out in whichever way that they are going to act out, and I just throw them the bait, let them do whatever they're going to do, say whatever they're going to say, show me who they really are, and I protect my peace, and I keep it moving, and I let God deal with them. I don't show up to every fight that I am invited to. The battle is not mine. I already know that God got my back. I don't have to jump, shout, and scream every time somebody think they gonna come after me. I done saw God make my enemies trip over their own 2 feet trying to get to me where they ain't even touch me, period. So I trust in God. God is the only reason why I made it as far as I have made it to this very day. So it is not what happens to you. It is how we choose to deal with things in life. So the next time you are faced with adversity, you take you a deep breath, you pray, and you deal with things as they come. And you still choose peace, love, joy, and happiness in your life every single day, no matter what your situation may be. Continue to bring out the best in you so you can enjoy this experience called life. So that is my message on today, you guys. I'm so glad that I came to you guys with that message. I felt that in my shana now. I feel better about that message. But anyway, Lord willing, I will be back on Friday with another motivational message of the day. Y'all always got me all tongue-tied, but y'all know what I mean though. Well, y'all enjoy the rest of this beautiful Thursday. God bless you all.